Little kid, I would just draw like stuff that you saw on TV or you saw in comic books, like cowboys and Indians and horses. So I used to draw cowboys and Indians when I was 5, 6 years old. So I would draw army guys, army tanks, airplanes. Then in high school, I would draw cars. Everybody was interested in cars. So when I was in high school, I did cars. I learned a lot about automobile engines and stuff like that. I drew monsters driving big cars. Then I went into the armed forces for a few years. And it was while I was in the Navy, I started going to county fairs and doing portraits of people. I met another artist who was doing this. So when I was on leave from my ship, I would travel around to county fairs and sit around and draw faces. Mainly it would be wives and girlfriends and pictures of people's babies. So I did that over the summer for one whole summer. And I got used to selling on the street and also selling my art. So ever since then, I've sort of expanded that. Like, there's a point when you're drawing and you're drawing and you're drawing and finally you draw something that expands you in a way, and you go, wait a minute, if I could do this, I could do this and this and this. They're like plateaus where you do a certain drawing and that drawing just establishes that you're going to be able to do a wide range of things. Just had these panoramic views that I wanted to paint after that, you know. And so I continued with the drawing until I got it to where you couldn't get any better, really, in terms of realistic drawing or being able to put somebody's face in a picture or do buildings or whatever else. And then I decided that I had to start painting. So that was a whole process of buying, investing in canvases, learning how to stretch canvas, buying paint, learning how to mix colors, learning how to paint in oils and acrylics, and sort of come up with a system. Learned at one critique that basically I would lay out whatever color I'm going to do, whatever colors I'm going to use that day, and then I add a little bit of white and a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more so that I have control of the color. And if I'm going to add another pigment to it, how much of that, but I have a sort of a system that, you know, it gives you control of colors so that you can do realistic paintings. And I've broken every rule in that system at one painting or another just because of the way I approached it, and still was able to pull off good paintings. I prefer to work for myself.
حينك قلت لي صادقت في ذا الكلام الحاج بين قوسي في ترتابي العداوي الخال غرابي.
He gave me, like in that particular job, a lot of freedom. He wanted clouds, and he offered me, you know, enough money that I'd be willing to do it. It was 2 months looking upward the whole time, and I did it all by hand with brushes. And it was a lot of fun. I mean, I enjoyed doing that. I'm not that afraid of heights or anything. I'm okay up on a scaffold and all. So I was up there for 2 months, and I hand did it, and I liked the challenge of it. One easy thing about painting is that you can see mistakes. You can just look at them. You don't have to go through 6 months of editing. You know, you can look at it at one moment and say to yourself, what's wrong with this picture? Study it, and you'll figure out something that's wrong and mix the color to fix that, you know. And that's the sort of, I guess, the basic way I go about this a lot. And I occasionally teach, but what I do when I teach is I take people through paintings. People that I teach end up with a painting. Like to get into a kitchen of a restaurant and actually get some pictures of people working, stuff like, it's interesting, you know, I like that. And I like the interior lighting at night, because that's challenging. That's where I am now. But I still have, like, through all my work, half of it is more imaginary stuff, which I've always liked doing, you know, the fantasy and the science fiction and the mythology and the stuff from the Bible. A lot of that is very inspiring, and it's through that work that there's so many things I learned about how the world works, the existence of God, all of that stuff. The stuff that I do, the spiritual paintings, where there's things that happen that make me believe there is something more than just this material world that we live in.